Hi everybody, I'm Annika, and today I'm going to be talking about my synopsis for Chapter 7 for my Human Sexuality and Society class. So to start off, this chapter talks mainly about sexuality and gender orientation, but specifically within schools and within the workplace. So to start off with schools, the average age of coming out today is between age 14 and 16. So this is right where you're in high school, and this is right where you're changing and discovering yourself. And you're also hitting puberty. So this is a very important time for most people. So the LGBTQ youth itself didn't become a thing or an issue until around the 1990s, mainly because it was not a part of our culture before. We had a very heteronormative culture before, and we still do. So this is very new to us. So the text itself with schools talks mainly about harassment, and it has a couple statistics that are quite staggering in numbers. So 55.5% of students feel unsafe at school due to their sexuality. And then 24% of LGBT youth were actually threatened with violence. I am absolutely shocked by those numbers. This obviously, the harassment and the violence is going to result negatively in higher dropout rates, poorer performance, higher rates of depression, increased PTSD, substance abuse, truancy. Not good things are going to happen from that. So specifically with transgender students, they are actually significantly higher rates of harassment and assault compared to cisgender or LGBT youth. So this can be shown through numbers. So 73.6% of trans students have been verbally harassed based on their gender expression at school, compared to the 29% of cisgender males and the 27% of cisgender females. So it's quite a jump in numbers. So there's several solutions that have been tried to make schools safe for LGBT students. High schools are specifically designed for LGBTQ students. There's an LGBTQ inclusive curriculum and the support of organizations such as GSAs, which are gay straight alliances, and implementing anti-bullying policies, and just overall challenging institutionalized heterosexuality. So the issue with a couple of these solutions is cost concerns and the fear of backlash. There are a lot of controversies over starting up some of these solutions, and it can actually be problematic to separate gay and straight people. So specifically with having gay-friendly high schools or all gay high schools, it's doing the same thing that we did in the past in terms of race by going separate but equal, and separating and segregating two different types of people just so that they don't harm each other, so one doesn't harm the other, isn't actually fixing the solution, or fixing the issue, I should say, and is actually just a temporary fix. So that's one of the issues with that, and is problematic in a way. So in terms of the curriculum of schools, LGBT topics are very invisible and unnoticed in the curriculum. It's very heteronormative, and especially when you get to younger ages, there's no part of sexuality in the curriculum, so it's even more erased there, which is good and bad in a couple ways, but that's a whole different topic. So other ways that we can kind of queer the curriculum or make it more LGBT friendly is by adding LGBTQ themed books to the library to check out, and adding examples of like the Stonewall riots into teaching lessons. I never learned about the Stonewall riots in school. I didn't until now. But all of this helps to steer from a less heterocentric world and focus more on the inclusion and the diversity of all genders and all races and everything. So to go into the other topic that was talked about, the workplace. So there is no requirement or social standard that it has to be sexually neutral in the workplace environment. So in fact, 15% of people met their current sexual partner at work. So it is actually pretty socially acceptable to date. And so in terms of sexual harassment, there's disproportionately more females that are sexually harassed in the workplace than males. Nearly half of all working women experience sexual harassment during the course of their working lives. And that is a crazy statistic to have. Even crazily enough, in the military, 65 to 79% of women experience harassment annually. And this is a male-dominated workplace, so this is very crazy stuff to me. So similar to schools, workplaces also institutionalize heterosexuality. They do this by implementing policies that privilege nuclear family arrangements, permitting a workplace that stifles discussion of LGBT relationships, and tolerating behavior that stigmatizes homosexuality. And of course, like it would, employees don't feel comfortable as themselves in the workplace and are bound to suffer negative outcomes. So all of this is going to show that we are not close to where we need to be in terms of how we approach sexuality and gender orientation. And I definitely think that you should go and vote and implement those policies and do your part.